All right, so my next story is the Argentine beef problem. So if you're not aware, there are some interesting choices being made out of the current administration regarding Argentina and beef imports. This is a quote from AP News. Quote, US ranchers oppose Trump's plan to import more Argentine beef, and experts doubt it will lower prices. So, to give you a breakdown on this, President Donald Trump's plan to cut record beef prices by importing more meat from Argentina is running into heated opposition from U.S. ranchers who are enjoying some rare profitable years and skepticism from experts who say the president's move probably wouldn't lead to cheaper prices at grocery stores. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association, along with, and this is a long name, the Ranchers Cattlemen Action Legal Fund, United Stock Growers of America, and other farming groups who are normally some of the president's biggest supporters, all criticize Trump's idea because of what it could do to American ranchers and feedlot operators. Agricultural economists say Argentinian beef counts for such a small slice of beef imports, only about 2%, that even doubling that wouldn't change prices much. South Dakota rancher Brett Kenzie said he wants American consumers to determine whether beef is too expensive, not the government. And so far, there is little sign that consumers are substituting chicken or other proteins for beef on their shopping lists, even though the average price of a pound of ground beef, the average price of a pound of ground beef hit its highest point ever at $6.32 in the latest report before the government shutdown began. Several factors have sent beef prices soaring, starting with continued strong demand combined with the smallest U.S. herd size since 1961. In part, that small herd is due to years of drought and low cattle prices. Still quoting AP News, beef imports are also down overall because of the 50% tariffs that Trump imposed on Brazil, a big beef exporter, and limits on Mexico, where the country is fighting a flesh eating pest. Kansas State University agricultural economist Glenn Tonsor said Argentina can't produce enough beef to offset those other losses of imports. Through July, the United States has imported 72.5 million pounds of Argentine beef while producing more than 15 billion pounds of beef. Much of what is imported is lean beef trimmings that meatpackers mix with fattier beef produced in the United States to produce the varieties of ground beef that domestic consumers want. So any change in imports would affect primarily hamburger. Steak prices that were averaging $12.22 per pound probably wouldn't change much. American ranchers say the idea of boosting imports from Argentina runs counter to the stated purpose of Trump's tariffs to encourage more domestic production and help American ranchers compete. Quote, it's a contradiction of what we believed his new course of action was. We thought he was on the right track, said the president of RCAF, Bill Bullard, who hoped Trump's policies would discourage imports and encourage ranchers to expand their herds. Texas A&M Livestock economist David Anderson said ranchers are finally getting prices that are going to make up for some really bad years in the past with the drought, low prices, and high costs. We finally get some good prices, and we start talking about government policy to bring down prices. Bryant Kagay, former owner of Kagay Farms in Amity, Missouri, said he thinks the plan would hurt ranchers. Cattle prices that have been averaging around $3,000 for a 1,250-pound animal slipped more than $100 immediately after Trump mentioned the idea of intervening in beef prices last week, though they have recovered a bit since. So, a lot going on there. I think when we're looking at our food supply, as chefs, as operators, as entrepreneurs, it's very important to understand supply chains, very important to understand the dynamic policies that are driving pricing. Beef pricing is high. And on one hand, you have American cattlemen, American ranchers liking that. They're finally charging probably what it actually costs to raise beef. The increased beef prices are being met with very positive review from cattlemen because they're finally starting to make some money on this stuff. But then you look at the consumer side, it's getting very, very expensive to purchase beef products because of these rising prices. So I understand the dichotomy of both things. But I would say this, that if the stated goal is to help with American production, then obviously the Argentine beef imports are lowering prices here, which it's just two goals that are like not aligned. You're either lowering prices by importing and then going against your tariff policy, or you are going to stay steady with American domestic production and let the prices fall where they lay. So it's very interesting to see. I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think the policy should be on this. And that is all I have for that.